true story of Lisa Holm, a smart and loving 17-year-old girl who was growing up and breaking out into the bigger world, but then she disappeared as if she had gone into thin air. Where did Lisa go? This educational video should only be watched with care. Hello and welcome back to the ASMR True Crime channel. With new posts every week, I'll bring you true crime in whispering ASMR. Please subscribe now and turn on notifications to become a part of the ASMR True Crime family, which is growing quickly and is very helpful. Always remember that being kind can save a lot of lives. Thank you very much for coming to be with me. Thank you to everyone who knew and loved Lisa and to everyone who was touched by this case. Before I start this video, I want to say I'm sorry for how I say some Swedish words and places. Even though I worked really hard to get these words right, I am not a native Swedish speaker. Alright, let's do this. Lisa Holm was born on February 7th in 1998. She grew up with her family in the small, pretty Swedish town of Kohberger. Lisa was loving and kind, and she liked animals, music, and hanging out with her friends. Lena Holm, Lisa's mother, said that her daughter was a wonderful girl with a pure heart. She was always there for her family and friends, and she had a lot of plans for the future. She had just finished from high school and started working at a Bloomberg cafe. It was only a 45-minute drive from where she lived. Little Bloomberg is a village in the country east of Gothenburg. It was only a temporary job for the summer before she started studying social sciences full-time. Her dad bought her a scooter as a graduation present and to help her to get her to her new job. It gave her some freedom. Lisa, who was 17 at the time, was getting to know the world better. I remember myself how exciting it was to be that age. Lisa and her dad had been going back and forth for 2 weeks, so she could go and work at the cafe. Her dad went with her so she could get used to riding the scooter. It wasn't the fastest trip because she was new to riding a scooter, but now she was ready to go alone. Somebody named Lisa Holm put a video on YouTube on May 24, 2015. The video was just a countdown. At 1 minute and 1 second, the countdown began. The video is only 11 and 12 seconds long. When the timer hit 50 seconds, the movie was over. The name of the video was 13. The video you're seeing now is the real thing. Lisa goes to work by herself for the first time on June 7th in 2015. Lisa worked the closing shift. She got there ahead of time, so her trip went well. The rest of her shift went as planned. She laughed with customers and talked with her co-workers, but in general the day was uneventful. Lisa and her co-workers started to close up. She texted her dad at 6:23 p.m. to let him know she was leaving the cafe and would be home soon. A good first day as an independent woman. Soon after, she called her dad, but it looked like it was an accident, a pocket dial. His ears could pick up the happy chatter of her co-workers. It was good, everyone was happy, and nothing was wrong. Little did Lisa's father knew that this was the last time he would ever hear her voice. It should have taken about 40 to 45 minutes to get from the cafe to Lisa's house. She still wasn't home at 7:30 p.m. when her parents tried to call her, but voicemail. They were getting more and more worried, so her dad drove the same way she was going. He looked in every ditch to the road because he was afraid she had been in an accident, but there was no sign of her at all. It made him feel so much better when he got to the cafe and saw the scooter outside. But this moment didn't last long. With each step, he saw the keys in the ignition. It felt like someone cruelly took away the relief and replaced it with a creeping fear. Lisa knew better than to leave keys in the scooter and walk away. The cafe and the area around it were searched, but nothing was found. So Lisa's dad called the police, who began a preliminary investigation. When the cops got to the cafe, they looked everywhere for the missing girl. Lisa was not a runaway. Anyone who knew her knew she was being held against her will. They looked in the places around with the help of a police dog. This included a big barn right across the cafe. They went door to door and asked people in the area for any useful information. Through the night and into Monday, June 8th, the search went on, but it didn't help at all. Early in the morning, they said in a statement that the teenage girl was lost. They didn't say Lisa's name because they wanted to keep the information secret, but they thought that this gave enough away to help the investigation. At the same time, something important was found: a Muppet glove in the barn across the street from the cafe. It was proven to be Lisa's. The cops and search dogs had been through this barn the night before, so it was strange though that nothing was found in those first searches. This glove was turned in to the cops by the Bloomberg estate landlord. He said that those had gone into the barn to start work that morning were the ones who found it. There were some problems with the glove's chain of custody, which meant that any physical evidence that could have been gathered from it was pretty much useless. But when the glove was found, it changed how the case was going. Therefore, the investigation was made more serious, which let the authorities use all of their tools. This meant there would be more police, bigger search groups, and more people working. At Kelpie Sports Center near the cafe, officers set up a command center. Soon, more clues about Lisa were found. Police found what looked like the insides of her pockets a few hundred meters to the south. A phone case, 2 old receipts, a used metro ticket, and a broken phone screen. When real progress was finally made, all of the things were recognized as Lisa's by her parents. These things were found on a small dirt road that wasn't used by many people. You probably wouldn't even know about the road if you weren't from the area. The police's worst thoughts were confirmed when they found the broken cell phone. At first, they tried to figure out where the missing girl was by using her cell phone to track her movements, but when they triangulated her phone on the day she went missing, they came up empty. The last place was located was at the cafe, but there was no activity on her phone after she left. This led police to believe that either she was told to turn off her phone, or even scarier, it was stolen so that the person who took her could destroy it. Things didn't look good when a broken screen was found. They talked to Lisa's family, friends, and 2 co-workers, but they didn't find any new clues. Lisa came from a small town and was only 17 years old. No one could think of anyone who would want to hurt her. The next day, on Tuesday, June 9th, more proof was found. Lisa's driver's license and house keys. But she was still missing, and there was no sign of where she could be. The search teams emptied mineral wells, went through buildings, and waded through farmlands in an effort to find anything that would lead them in the right way. But time was running out quickly. As the days went by, the chances of getting someone safely back home dropped by a factor of 10. On Wednesday, June 10th, the police and Lisa's family decided that the world should know who Lisa is. After this news conference, almost 1,000 people from all over Sweden rushed to help the search. This search for Lisa is still the biggest one Sweden have ever seen. As soon as they had more people, the search groups went back to places they already looked, and the barn was one of these places. On their second search of the barn, the police found one of Lisa's earrings near the door. As the police got to the barn, evidence teams were called in to find out as much as they could. They found some biological matters, naming human feces. People thought that these actually belonged to the guy who took Lisa. Because of how humans evolved, when we're in a huge rush, we may feel like going to the bathroom. These people thought that whoever took Lisa was feeling this rush of energy. As the forensic agent got closer to the barn, the search area grew to include farms and residents within 5 kilometers of the cafe. A few kilometers away from the cafe, searchers found a place called Martop Farm. 2 guys in a car showed up while they were there searching. But something didn't seem right. The 2 guys said the farm had already been checked out and told them not to waste their time. Because the volunteers were not sure what was going on, they chose to tell the police. When the police arrived, they kept looking, and soon they found Lisa's helmet, her jacket, and her headphones hidden amongst the bushes and plants. There was an old wooden trailer or work shed nearby that looked like it had just been opened. The long grass that led up to it was flattened and pushed down. The strong smell of death hit them in the face as they walked in. It looked like an old changing room on the inside with chairs, lockers, and benches. One of the lockers was open and had old clothes in it. They also looked in every locker but found nothing. After that, they took a closer look at the locker that was full of clothes. But they noticed they weren't just looking at clothes in that small, crowded space. Instead, they found Lisa, squished into the locker and no longer breathing. She had a rope around her neck and wasn't fully dressed. She had duct tape over her nose and mouth. The cops stormed into the house at Martrup Farm on Friday, June 12th, and they arrested a 25-year-old man, his wife, and his brother. Nirichus Peldivius, his brother Ivarus, and Nirichus' wife. The Lithuanian brothers did work on Martrup Farm and in the barn next to the cafe. Their house was right next to the dirt road where Lisa's belongings were discovered. It was near the barn and the farm. They all said they had nothing to do with Lisa's case and acted as alibis for each other. More and more people were saying that the cops had not been thorough enough, so the barn was checked out again. There wasn't just one big room in this barn. There were actually actually several rooms, such as an office and a place for milking. There was a big window in the office that let you see the cafe clearly. You could see the waitresses coming and going as they served guests. In that office, there was evidence of self-gratification on the wall by the window. When DNA tests were done on these spots, they came back as a match for neri juice. Lisa's co-workers in the cafe later said they saw both of the brothers looking at them from that window, which was very creepy. Along the wall of the milking room, there was a pipe with a rope on it. This later turned out to have Lisa's DNA on it. People think this is where she took her last breath. As of now, police have put together the horrible timeline. Neri Juice pulled up in his car just as Lisa was getting on her scooter. He probably grabbed her and dragged her into the barn. To silence her, he duct taped her. After that, he hung her from a pipe in the milking room. Although Lisa hadn't been raped, the attack was probably sexual in nature, as found by an autopsy. Sperm was found on her clothes and in the barn. Investigators thought that Neri Juice had become so aroused that he sat and enjoyed himself while Lisa was dying. He then took her body to the trailer on Martrup Farm, put her in the locker, and threw away her things as he went. He did, however, have an alibi, but then his brother Ivarus couldn't hold it anymore and told the truth in the end. He admitted that his brother had done some strange things the night Lisa went missing, like going out and then washing his clothes. When he got back, his brother told him to lie about where he was when the cops came to question them. He told his brother that the cops would have to blame a foreigner for the crime, and the brother agreed. The real reason, though, was that he had done the act himself. The cops now had everything. There was Nerich's DNA on Lisa's clothes and the crime scene, and he didn't have an alibi anymore. Now, do you remember the time clock I talked about at the beginning of the video? A lot of people saw this around the time Lisa went missing. People online loved this part of the story, which was a kind of once-in-a-lifetime event, like something from a movie or a dark Netflix show. When the movie was posted, it was called 13, which was also the number of full days that Lisa didn't show up. It was clear that the channel was named Lisa Holm. A lot of people thought that all of these signs pointed to the crime being planned ahead of time. When someone planned to do something, it changes the charges that can be made against them and the sentences that will be given to them. When the police looked into where the video came from, they found that it was just a cruel scam. The movie was renamed 13 and the channel was changed to Lisa Holm after Lisa went missing, to make this even more cruel and mysterious. The case went to court in November 2015. The officials said that Neri Juice had taken Lisa hostage for his self-gratification. When the cops took his computer, they found a lot of adult movies that were very scary and also very disturbing. He hung Lisa from the pipe in the milking room just for fun while trying to reenact the movies on his computer. After getting what he wanted, he tried to hide what he had done. There wasn't much you could say against the fact and proof. In a strange move, though, his defender tried to blame his younger brother. They said he put the proof there himself. They said that since DNA wasn't found in the car, he couldn't have been able to move the body. is a good point of view, but luckily it didn't hold up against all the evidence against him. There was no way he had ever met Lisa. He said, "I have never met this girl. I have only seen a picture of her. I understand how hard things are for the family and I feel their pain. I am a father myself." Ivor's DNA wasn't found, so he couldn't be linked to Lisa in any way. Finally, a decision was made on November 17, 2015. Nerijus Bildevicius was found guilty. He was given a life term for his crime. The monster who stole Lisa, who was pretty and very nice, he would spend the rest of his life in jail. But it turned out that he didn't live very long after that. Someone else in the prison, Nerijus, hit Nerijus in the neck with a sharp item on August 3rd, 2022. The family and friends of Lisa Holm will never forget the pain he caused them, but they can be sure that he will never be able to hurt anyone else again. So, do you believe that the sentence fit the crime? Do you know of anything that could be done to make sure it doesn't happen again? What are your thoughts? Tell me in the comment. And if you like what I'm doing here, please click the like and subscribe buttons. Thanks a lot.